Hey lovely ladies, how are we all doing? I've got the sexy Susie husky voice today, I'm afraid. Like everybody else that seems to be just down with all these bugs at the moment, I've got the very silly bug. Hope you are all well and you're enjoying your Thursday. I nearly said Friday there. I'm obviously ready for the weekend already. So do let me know if you are here live. Pop a hate in the comments. Do let me know. And if you're catching up on replay, do a hashtag replay too. But it'd be great to see who's here live. Today we've got a great one, a great session that if you have found that you've ever been, hey Vicky, lovely to see you. If you've ever been a yo-yo dieter, if you've ever said that I want to make money and then you find that you're in that feast and famine cycle, if you keep dating the wrong people and you know that they're the wrong people but you keep running that same thing, that you're going to find that today you're going to love today's session. So if you've ever wondered why you have all these good intentions to do something and you say that you want something and then you seem to manifest the opposite, then you're going to love today's session. So if you are here live, I'll wait just for a second, see who's coming in. And if you're tired of getting in your own way, you're kind of a bit fed up of like knowing that, you want to move forward and then you're just not doing it. Hey Teresa, lovely to see you. So this is the session for you today if you find yourself doing any of those things. Whether you've gone after the perfect job and then you just muck up the interview that you can do in your sleep. That is the thing. Oh, I keep having these pop-up messages at the moment as well, so let me just get rid of those. So if you're one of these people that you're desperate to move your business forward, but then you find yourself procrastinating and get filled with self-doubt, or that you start the diet and then you fall off it quicker than you know it, even though you are desperate to lose weight to get into your Christmas frock. Or like I said, that you start these relationships with people and then you just know that they're not the right relationships with you, then this is the session for you today. And it's all about how we are, you're setting these best intentions, these goals, and then you find a way to sabotage it every single time. So let me know if any of those things resonate with you today. And if you are catching up on the replay, which I know a lot of you catch up on the replay, then pop it in afterwards and I can come back and have a look at it afterwards. So if you tag me in it as well later on and put hashtag replay, I can come back to you there. So if that is you, and often, you might find that you don't even notice that you're doing it to start off with, and, you might just forget a deadline, for instance, and I say forget in inverted commas, or you've got a presentation the next day and you're still working at it at midnight, for instance, so you're not preparing for something that's going on. Maybe you're consistently late for things, or you keep putting some things off that you know that you need to finish. You start projects and don't finish them. So let's know. We've got a couple here. So Vicky, you're losing weight, you struggle with that. And Teresa, yes, it rings so true for you, Teresa, as well. So yeah, if particularly as well, this is another telltale sign. If you keep grinding to a halt with things, that you're suddenly thinking, you're almost maybe now in December, that you are kind of not doing the stuff that will finish your year off well, because you're already going, I'm going to set this up in January. So you're holding back on things. So Teresa, you cannot finish anything right now. Yeah, and do you then kind of go, I don't know why, I desperately want it, but I seem to keep stopping myself from doing that. So that is another telltale sign that you're not finishing anything right now. It tells me that there's something going on in your mind. And, again, and I say that very loosely, by the way. I don't kind of mean it, in the bad way. This is stuff that happens to everyone, by the way. So the first thing I want you to just say is to be relieved. You'll be relieved to hear it's not your fault. This is your mind. It is actually your mind's fault that does it. So as an NLP trainer, so neuro-linguistic programming, I specialise in how the mind works, how it plays these tricks on us. So you might be seeing, you're doing things like, you're not finishing, or you keep procrastinating, or you get burnout, for instance. These are all telltale signs that your mind's playing those tricks on you. Now, for me, NLP is, obviously, I'm an NLP trainer. NLP came into my life in about sort of 2012, I think, actually. And it literally changed my life. I used to have very severe migraines, and that I was down with migraines every couple of weeks. I was a HR director at the time. I was running around like anything, and I used to have imposter syndrome a lot. And NLP really was my saviour. It really was my saviour. I haven't had a migraine in over 8 years. And what NLP is like the user manual for the mind. It gives us the techniques that help us change our internal patterns of behaviour. So when we're doing these things where we are sabotaging and we don't know why, NLP provides us with that tool to do that. And that is why I do the work at the deeper level, because I'm so passionate about how NLP changes at the root cause and stops you doing the things that are not getting you the results that you want. Now, what happens with all of this, just to give you a little bit of the kind of the background info, I suppose. Self-sabotage occurs when you've got your logical conscious mind, and I say the conscious mind is the goal setter. So it'll set your goals. It'll say, I've got this intention. Let me just say, I'll use the example of weight, because that's an easy one to use. I want to lose weight. That is my goal. That's your conscious, your logical mind. Now, that is the part of you that, wants to lose weight. It wants to eat healthily. It wants to exercise. But self-sabotage happens when actually that logical conscious mind, so the goal setter, is at odds, is in internal conflict with your unconscious mind. That's the goal getter. That's the bit of you that then ends up, when you get stressed, that you eat chocolate. Self-sabotage is anything that gets in the way of us getting the goals that we want. We say we want it, but we somehow never accomplish it. And this is because your unconscious mind is the one that will get the goal for you. Whether you've said you want to earn more money, you want to lose weight, or whatever you've said consciously, if you are not aligned with your unconscious mind, you are never going to get the very thing that you say you want. I run a mastermind with my ladies mastermind, and yesterday was our wealth creation session, our money mindset training that we do. And we talked all about how, if you are not in alignment with what you're saying that you want, so if you say that you want to be a 6-figure earner, but you've got unresolved stuff unconsciously, you're never going to get that figure. No matter how many times you say it, if you say you want the money, you've got to get your unconscious mind on board to do that. Same with weight. That's why we yo-yo diet, because we might say we want to diet, we want to lose weight, but and I'll tell you why with that again in a minute, why we do that. So your unconscious mind is self-sabotage, is to preserve, safeguard you and defend you. Even if, you're kind of like screaming out that that's what I want. It's the bit on the unconscious level that is stopping us getting the very thing we want. We don't recognise that actually, our actions are not getting us those things. We don't realise that, for instance, clutter around us distracts us, or how constantly overthinking our decisions kind of paralyses us into inaction. And what I have found, you see, is also that what happens in one area So how you behave in one area will often show up in another area too. So I want you to just think about, at the moment, a little bit of a task for you. Where do you think you're in that internal conflict right now? So where else are you sabotaging right now? So where is this conflict between you, what you're saying you want, and what the results are that you're getting? So this conscious mind, unconscious mind conflict. Where's the resistance showing up? Where are you being too busy? Where are you procrastinating? Where do you lose interest in something? I think, Teresa, it was you saying you're not finishing off anything at the moment. So, what areas in your life are you doing that? Because it won't just be in one. Money's a big one for it. So, you're saying you want the money, but then your bank balance is not reflecting that. It's that, the feast and famine. Can you see the different, the thing there, how that correlates with yo-yo diet as well? Same thing, feast, famine, yo-yo dieting. So I'm going to teach you today how we can actually start looking at how the mind controls everything and how you can actually outsmart it as well. So I'm going to give you some little tricks on doing that. So let's start off with the basics. Let's start off with some of the basics. Let me know if this is interesting and this is resonating with you as well, and if it is something you want to know more about, while I take a drink. Okay, so you're going to be most familiar with your conscious mind, and that's the part of you who sets the goals. Thank you, Teresa. It's the part of you that wants to move forward. It loves progress. It likes the to-do list and checking it off, and loves the idea of taking action. That's your conscious mind. That's your rational conscious mind. But then you've got your unconscious mind. This is the bit that's the fearful bit. This is the bit that, whispers in your ear, no, do it tomorrow. Do it next week. You're not good enough for that. People are not going to buy all of that. So why don't you go off and pair the socks in the washing machine instead? It's the bit that holds you back. It's the bit that it's almost that 2 steps forward, 1 step back scenario. That like an elastic band. Just as you're stretching out of your comfort zone, your unconscious mind is the bit that pulls you, snaps you straight back to keep you safe. So if you're not willing to understand how that unconscious mind works and work with it, you're going to keep self-sabotaging. You keep creating the same situations over and over. So what can you do about it? What can you do about it? The first thing you can do about it is understanding why you do what you do. So why are you sabotaging? Now that might seem a very vague, open question. And like I said, often we don't always know that that's what we're doing. So first of all, just know that your behaviours are driven by your thoughts and your emotions. So just again, keeping that same kind of metaphor of the losing weight thing. Let's just say you want to lose weight, but you keep snacking. You keep keeping loads of chocolate around you or biscuits around you. The choice there to eat the snack is based on your thoughts and emotions. Your hand doesn't just reach to the bowl on its own accord, does it? It does not have its own brain, which makes it move without your permission. You make the choice to do that. So, for instance, when you don't want to fail at in your business, in your dream job, in your relationship, or, you might unintentionally sabotage those own efforts to do well. And there's lots of thoughts and beliefs, things that, that is for another day. It's, down to those thoughts and beliefs. What do you have about you? So what do you believe about you to be true about you for you to be running that pattern? For you to be reaching for the snacks? What are the thoughts? What do you believe about yourself with that one? So again, just taking it back down a little bit. if you've got a pattern of overeating, what is the thought around that? What is the thought about it? You might believe that you deserve to eat whatever you want when you want. That might be your belief. Or that actually I'm stressed out and so it's my well-deserved treat to have my little snack every single break time. So have a think first about what is it that you believe to be true about you for that pattern to actually keep existing. So the point is as well here is, again, one of the rules of like the mind, you create what you focus on. It becomes this self-fulfilling prophecy. So what is it that you're thinking about constantly that is resulting in certain actions? Because let's just say you want to be less anxious, for instance. By thinking about it, you create more of it, bizarrely. So Vicky, yours is that eating something yummy makes you feel better. Now that's great because you've said the word feel in there. So we know it's a feeling. So you're getting a benefit from having that. And we'll come on to why that's really important in a minute as well. So remember as well that your unconscious mind doesn't know the difference between fact and fiction, between a good habit and a bad habit. It doesn't do, it just simply reacts to what you're telling it to do effectively. So things like anxiety and overeating and doubts and all of those, they can become habits that we keep running. And actually anxiety, for instance, actually is a warning from your unconscious mind that you are focusing on things that you want to avoid, by the way. It's just an additional one there. So if you've got anxiety coming up, it's, you know, you're focusing on something that you don't want. So if you're worrying about money, for instance, it's because you don't want to not have money. So it's a warning sign. So it's something to, you know, for us to note that that's where our thoughts are going, that's where our feelings are. I'll give you an example of how all of this lets work in, how it kind of runs from start to end. And I'm going to use an example here of, like if you're in a relationship. Let's just say you keep getting into, you know, you desperately want a relationship, as an example. So let's just say you now start dating someone. And so it starts going really well. So this is how the self-sabotage starts working, if there's stuff underneath that's unresolved. So you then start going, this is going really well. It's not going to last. It's going too well. So I know, you know, it can't last because my relationships don't last that are going well. You know, something happens then. So what do you do then? You start creating arguments. Maybe you start retreating from that partner that you're in. You know, you're almost motivated to bring about your own failure so that when it happens, you're not surprised about it. So what basically happens there, we start creating the arguments in the relationship and then it breaks up. And so then you say, there you go, I told you so, I can't keep a good relationship. Does that all make sense? Does that make sense how that kind of thing works? It's same with, I've just had it with one of my clients actually. You know, and this is down to, you know, if you've got a core belief, and this is why I said try and look at what your beliefs are. You've got a core belief that contradicts your goal and it's out of your conscious awareness, your unconscious mind will always work. It will always be the one that rules. So your beliefs are unconscious and they will dictate that. So let's just say, and this is where it's related to one of my clients. One of my clients that I've got is looking at promotions at the moment, looking at promotions within her work. So she's got this goal that she wants to go up the ladder, and she can absolutely do it, by the way. She's, you know, definitely can do it. She's in a job at the moment that she's way more qualified than she, you know, for what she gets paid for it. So we've been working together on that. And she's just gone for a job that she could have done, honestly, she could have absolutely just nailed it. But she had a belief, which we didn't discover till afterwards, actually, when she fluffed the interview. She fluffed the psychometric tests that she could absolutely have just done in her sleep that would have got her this promotion, because she didn't believe that she was smart enough in that company. So she fluffed them up subconsciously. So have a think about that. Where have you almost fluffed something up that you've said you wanted, which you know on another day you would have just done in your sleep? Because it's these are the beliefs that will override any of the desires that you know, when you're going for what you want. So it might be that you start off really well, but then the seeds of doubt start kicking in, and then you just decide that it's too hard for you and it's not worth the effort. And that's because unconsciously you've already made the decision that you're going to fail. And so then consciously it all sort of comes out, you know, it all unfolds, if you like. So I want you to just delve deeper into these things where you are not getting the results that you want. What's going on underneath? What's going on underneath? Use the example of the woman that I was saying that wanted to advance her career, and she had that underlying belief that she wasn't smart enough. So again, if it's about weight, still there, we froze a little bit there. Just give me a thumbs up if you can still see me, because I did have something come up there. So have a look deeper into what's coming up for you. Just know that actually, you've got it. Perfect. Thank you. You've got to look at them, because there's two rules, if you like, to our behaviour. The first is that there's actually a positive intention motivating all your behaviours. Now, whether that's good or bad for you, do you know? So, for instance, if you're trying to lose weight and you keep doing the yo-yo, there will be some positive intention for you staying at the weight that you are. You might not believe that. It might be something like, for instance, it might be that you know that, again, this might be one of your, it's going to be an unconscious thing, not conscious. It might be that if you lost weight, you suddenly became more attractive to people. And I say this very loosely again. You might suddenly start getting attention because you've lost the weight. And it might be one of your beliefs are that you do not like being visible. It might be that you think if you are more visible, people will then start paying more attention to you, which might be that suddenly other people that are your friends might become jealous of your success. So again, you might stop yourself doing that. It sounds bizarre, doesn't it? Because you're kind of like, why am I doing that when this is what I want to be, this, that and the other. But, you know, if there's this underlying reason, and you've got to trace it all back. So what you've got to look at is, what is your positive intention of staying where you are? What is the positive intention? So for, again, it might be the positive intention of overeating, might be like, I think Vicky said, because it was yummy and it made you feel better. It might be that you've had a really long week, and actually having that Chinese takeaway at the end of the week is a stress relief for you. So you've got to find out what is that positive intention, and until you can then find an alternative positive intention, you will then still keep going back to the old behaviours. Okay, so look at where you are saying you are wanting something, but you are not getting the results that you say, and then look at what is the positive benefit you are getting from staying where you are. So I hope that is useful for you today to look at it. You know, these are just small changes that we can make that can have a massive difference by doing these things. And changing any negative behaviours really can stop us self-sabotaging. You know, so look into that and think about how are your actions not getting you what you want. And I'm actually going to be doing my accredited NLP programs next year. I will be launching them soon. So if you've ever wanted to be an NLP coach, NLP practitioner, then let me know. But what I'm actually also doing, so if you want to know the basics of NLP and neuro-linguistic programming and how it can change your life, how coaches that use it get the best possible results from it, and how you can change yourself as well as learning techniques to help others. I am doing a masterclass, an NLP masterclass. It's a free masterclass on the 13th of December. I haven't released it yet, but if you are interested in either the masterclass or even if you want to get the qualifications, the certification program, then do let me know. Just message me directly because I haven't done any of the sales pages or anything for it at the moment. So do message me if you want to know the power of how you can use your mind to get you the behavior, you know, the results that you do truly want, and cut out all of this stuff that keeps stopping you doing that. So I hope you found that useful today. Do let me know what your biggest aha was, and I will see you next week, hopefully with a much better voice. Have a great weekend. See you later.